There is a brutal honesty that very few people dare to speak aloud. Some lives are not only hard right now, they will always be hard. Some of us are born into storms that do not pass. Some of us know deep down that the pain we feel today may not vanish tomorrow or next year or even in this lifetime. And yet here you are, breathing, standing, watching, listening. You have already done something extraordinary. You have refused to disappear. We are told over and over that things will get better, and for some they do. But for others, better is not a guarantee. It is a distant hope. And still we wake up. Still we keep moving. Why? Because there is a deeper truth than the promise of a happy ending. The truth that your life is still yours, even when it hurts, even when it will always hurt. Choosing to live in the face of ongoing pain is not denial, it is defiance. It is saying to the universe, you may throw everything at me, despair, loss, injustice, endless struggle, but I will not stop breathing. I will not surrender my right to exist. Some will say, what's the point if it never gets better? The point is this: to exist at all is a miracle. To feel, to think, to create, to rebel against nothingness. That is the point. You are not an accident. You are a consciousness in the middle of a vast, indifferent universe, and yet you are choosing to endure. That choice matters. You don't need to pretend that the pain is temporary if you know it's not. You don't need to pretend that your life will magically transform. But you can decide that your story, even inside a terrible world, will still be written by you. That is what makes you powerful. That is what makes you free. Right now, you may feel like a prisoner in your own life. But by choosing to live despite knowing the pain may never end, you are not a prisoner. You are a warrior. A warrior without illusions, but with unshakable resolve. This is not about waiting for happiness. This is about forging meaning out of suffering. This is about taking a life that you already know will be filled with struggle and saying, I will still make something out of it. I will still show up. And in doing so, you become something rare. You become someone the world cannot break. We are told to hope for better days, to cling to the idea that this too shall pass. But what if you know deep down that the pain will not pass? What if you accept that your life will always feel heavy, always scary scars, always bring more struggle than peace? That's the reality many people live in. And here's the secret no one tells you: accepting that reality does not destroy you, it liberates you. Because once you stop waiting for life to become easy, you stop being disappointed every day it isn't. You stop wasting energy chasing an illusion of perfect happiness, and you start using that energy to live in the life you do have. Yes, your life may suck. It may always suck in ways other people cannot imagine. But what if you could build strength inside that suffering? What if your greatness comes not from escaping pain, but from carrying it with dignity, from making meaning out of what others call meaninglessness? When you know the future will hurt, and you choose to keep living anyway, you are not naive. You are a realist, armed with courage. You are not lying to yourself with promises of sunshine. You are staring into the storm and saying, "Strike me again, I am still here." There is a deeper kind of hope than hoping for comfort. It is the hope that no matter how cruel the world is, you will endure. That your life, however hard, will still leave a mark. That you will still write your story in the face of suffering. Think of it, billions before you have lived and died, and many of them carried lives full of endless hardship, and yet they endured, they loved, they created, they resisted. Their lives were not wasted simply because they were not easy. Your life will not be wasted either. So yes, maybe you know your life will suck. Maybe you already feel the weight of it every day. But if you can wake up tomorrow knowing the pain will still be there and still rise, that is not defeat. That is victory of the purest kind. Because living in spite of suffering is not about chasing pleasure. It's about declaring, "I will not let despair erase me. My existence is worth fighting for, even if it never feels soft, even if it never feels easy." What if the point of life was never comfort? What if the point was weight? The weight you carry and the strength you build by carrying it. Think about it. If your life is destined to hurt, then every day you endure is not meaningless. It is proof. Proof that you are stronger than the pain, stronger than the world's cruelty, stronger than despair itself. There is a dignity in this struggle that easy lives will never understand. They may never know what it feels like to wake up crushed by the certainty of hardship and to rise anyway. They may never know the fire that lives inside you, the fire that has been forged through endless nights, endless storms, endless trials. And that fire, that unbreakable will, is your legacy. It is the story you will leave behind, the echo of your experience, of your existence. Not one of comfort, not one of ease, but one of unyielding defiance. If life will always suck, then let it hurt. But make sure your suffering is not wasted. Carve something out of it. A word, a memory, a kindness, a fight, a resistance. Let your pain become the tool with which you shape the world, even if only in small ways. Because legacy is not about how much you enjoyed life, it is about how much you endured and what you built out of that endurance. The world does not remember those who had it easy. The world remembers those who kept going when they had every reason to stop. So if you already know your life will hurt, then take ownership of it. Say, yes, it will suck. Yes, it will always be heavy. And still I will live it on my terms. Still I will create meaning. Still I will leave behind proof that I walk this earth and refuse to bow. You are not defined by whether life gave you joy. You are defined by whether you kept walking through the fire. And if you choose to live, even in a life that will never stop hurting, you have already become something rare, something immortal. Because pain may last a lifetime, but so does courage. There is a raw kind of freedom in knowing your life will never be easy. Because once you accept that nothing can disappoint you, every smile, every laugh, every small victory becomes a miracle, and every hardship becomes one more chance to prove that you cannot be broken. Do you understand what that means? It means that every day you wake up, even if it's into misery, you are already undefeated. You have survived 1,000 nights you thought would kill you. You are still here. That is not small. That is not nothing, that is everything. You may think your life has no value because it is soaked in pain. But the truth is, the value lies in the fight. The value lies in your refusal to surrender. The value lies in your courage to carry suffering on your back and still walk forward. Think about this. There are people who crumble when the smallest inconvenience touches their lives. But you have carried storms that would have drowned them. You have endured seasons they could never survive. You have fought battles inside yourself that they will never imagine. That is your power. That is your crown. So no, maybe you will never have the easy life. Maybe the world will never give you peace. But you can take something greater. The knowledge that you were not destroyed. That you stared into the darkness and lived anyway. That when life tried to break you, you broke its teeth instead. And if you can do that, if you can live even when life sucks, even when it always sucks, then you have already won. You are the proof that existence itself can be wrestled from the jaws of despair. So live, not because it is sweet, not because it is fair, but because it is yours. Because every breath you take is one more strike against the nothingness. Because you matter, even if the world tries to convince you otherwise. That is not a call to chase happiness. This is a call to war. A war against despair. A war against nothingness. A war to exist even when it hurts. And if you rise tomorrow and live again, you will be a warrior who has already claimed victory. So what do we do? Knowing the truth, knowing that life is not a gentle story but a battlefield where suffering never sleeps. We choose. We choose to live. We choose to carry the pain. We choose to fight, not because the fight will end, but because fighting itself is meaning. You must understand, existence is not measured in comfort or in ease or in how much happiness you gathered along the way. Existence is measured in will. Did you stand? Did you resist? Did you live when everything told you not to? Your life may suck. It may always suck. That is the raw and terrible truth. You are still here, and that means something. It means you are not finished. It means you have not been erased. It means that even in a world that offers you nothing but pain, you are writing a story that pain cannot silence, and that story matters to someone you will meet, to someone who will remember you, to the world that will be shaped even slightly by your decision to keep breathing. So when you wake tomorrow and the weight presses down on you again, do not ask, "Why am I here?" Instead answer, "Because I refuse to disappear. Because my life, however cruel, is still mine. Because I am stronger than despair." This is your defiance. This is your power. Not the hope for an easier tomorrow, but the courage to rise in a terrible today. And when the darkness comes, as it always does, you will not whisper, but roar. I will live, even if it hurts, even if it always hurts. I will live, because that is victory, that is freedom, that is immortality.